Hi everyone, Amy here, and I have a new 5 in 10 video to share with you today. This 5 in 10 video is featuring this brand new big candles stencil from A Colorful Life Designs, and I'm showing you here the prototype card that I made initially, and this is the inspiration for the 5 cards that I'm going to try and make in 10 minutes or less. So here's the stencil. It's a 6x6 from A Colorful Life Designs, and it's part of the February 2022 release. So be sure to check out the rest of the awesome stencils from that release because it's all birthday inspired and it's tons of great stuff. Lots of good mix and match. These I'm showing you are my Tailored Expressions simple strips. I pulled out a selection of those to use on my 5 cards, and I have the Life of the Party mini ink pad set from Catherine Pooler. Going to be using the colors Aquatini, Flirty Fuchsia, Tiara, and Tiki Torch as my colors for this simple design. Now, as you can see on the prototype, it's very clean and simple. It's a single layer card. I'm going to do the ink blending directly on the card base, and then I just have the sentiment popped up with some lower profile thin foam tape. And I'll link all the products that I used in the video description box below if you expand and scroll down. These I'm using are little Bitty Bunny blending brushes from A Colorful Life Designs, so these will help me get into the smaller areas like on the flame. So I'm just kind of getting everything set up. I have some post-it tape here. I'm just going to use that to mask off the edges to protect the card base and only have the ink go where I want it. So I'm just kind of placing it down similar to the prototype, but the benefit of these not perfectly straight candles is that they're whimsical looking on their own. So in my haste, if I don't get it perfectly straight, it's not really going to show because the candles aren't perfectly straight. So this is a really good design for this type of challenge. Again, I'm not this hard up for time. This is just a fun challenge that I like to do from time to time just to see if I can. And to give people some, clean and simple design ideas for their cards if they don't want to spend a whole lot of time but still want to make something cool. So I get my magnets, and that post-it tape is also kind of holding it down. Make sure I have everything ready, and then I start the timer here in the top left corner. And now the first card I'm going to do in real time so you can see how long the ink blending actually takes, but then on the next cards I will go ahead and speed it up just so you don't have to sit there watching me do the same thing over and over again in real time. So I'm starting with that teal color in the bottom, and I quickly realized that I should have actually re-inked this pad because it was a little bit dry, not nearly as juicy as the Catherine Pooler ink pads usually are. So after this challenge, I did go back and add some re-inker to that pad to kind of bring it back to life. But I start with the teal, and then I move up to the Flirty Fuchsia, and then into the Tiki Torch, and then the yellow Tiara color. Now you will see I did decide to start from the top and go to the bottom on the remaining 4 cards, just because I did end up finding that easier. So this is from bottom to top, and then all the next are going to be top to bottom. So I'm doing the darker color with the Bitty Bunny blending brush, and then coming in with the yellow just on the tip of the flame and kind of blending the orange and the yellow together. So it looks a bit of a mess with my blending here, but once I remove the stencil, then you'll see it's a nice, crisp, clean image. So I'm going to remove this stencil here and then speed things up in a moment and work through the 4 remaining cards. Just kind of adding a little bit more purple. I saw some spots that I was missing, so I went back and added a little bit more color to that. But I'm just going to leave the tape right on the stencil and then kind of just put down the next card base. And this is a 110-pound Classic Crest Solar White Nina cardstock. So that's what I have for all these card bases. And as you can see, I'm starting with the flame and then moving down to the Flirty Fuchsia and then the teal color, the Aquatini. So I'm just quickly blending through these. Now this is a nice, clean and simple, gender neutral type of layout that you could use. Obviously you can switch up the colors, but I kind of thought that the purple worked well next to the orange, just because if it did overlap a little bit, which it did on some of the cards, it kind of just ended up looking more like a reddish color and kind of deepened the flame. So if you do switch up the colors of the design, just make sure you use colors that work together, that get along, so that if you do have some overlap, you don't kind of muddy up your colors. So I'm just working through the flames here, moving down the colors. I'm at about halfway through, about 5.5 minutes at this point. So I don't test this out, guys. I usually make a prototype and then I just say, hey, you know, I think I could do this for a 5 and 10, and then I go for it. So I don't test it in advance to see if I can do them in 10 minutes. So you may find in future videos that I fail. So that's always a possibility here. So we'll see if I make it. Now I got all the 5 cards. Now I do have these little foam strips. These are from Amazon. They're very similar to the Derice foam strips. However, they are a little lower profile. They're only about 1/16 inch high. So I just used my scissors there and snipped the length down a little bit because most of the sentiments that I picked were pretty similar in length. And I didn't want to have to take the time to cut every single one and lose that extra time. So I did just a little snip with my scissors right on that sheet just to kind of cut them down generally to the size that I needed. And now I'm going to remove the backers and kind of place those in the lower right corner over the top of the candles. And I'm really pushing it for time at this point. I'm kind of speeding up. You know, I have the film sped up, but I was a little nervous I might not make it. I was kind of cutting it close here, but 9 minutes and 24 seconds, I made it. So you never know, guys. I might not make it in the 10 minutes, but again, I don't need to make it in the 10 minutes. You can absolutely take as much time as you need. This is just kind of a fun challenge I like to do from time to time just to see if I can. But if this design is a little bit too simple, I'll show you on the prototype card just a way that you can kind of jazz it up a little bit. So this is the original prototype card, and I have a Sakura gel pen. I believe that's a size 10, and I'm just using it to add some simple highlights onto the candles and onto the flame, kind of like what you would see in real life. And it really does add quite a bit to the card with just such a subtle little change like that. And then I get some liquid glue out, and I have this cute blingage, which happens to be like the perfect color to go with this. There's some purples and teals, and I like to work in odd numbers. So I have 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom. I just put little dollops of liquid glue down. That's art glitter glue. And I have my jewel picker tool. And then I just take a smattering of these in the teal and purple and various different size circles and just kind of lay that down. So this is another way to easily jazz up a card if it's a little too plain and too simple for your taste. And then I offer one other suggestion, one other option rather. This is a Wink of Stella pen. So this is just a clear shimmery pen that kind of lays down some glitter or shimmer when the light hits it. So that's another option to kind of give it a little something extra special. But there you go. You got 5 cards plus the prototype, but I was able to make the 5 cards in 10 minutes or less. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. And I have other videos here for you to check out if you're interested, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks. Bye.